Well, it's Monday night. You know what that means. It used to be Sunday night, but you know what? We'll get back to that soon. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Orange and Blue. Ryan Schroep, joined as always by Kevin Ducey. How are you, my friend?
Oh man, I've had better days. I normally don't when athletes or celebrities die, there's not like it doesn't normally bother me too much. But Ryan Sandberg is my favorite baseball player of all time. He's on my wall over here. I have a jersey. Ryan Sandberg and Walter Payton, my two favorite athletes of all time. And it kind of sucks that Rhino died, and I'm a little bit bummed by it. But the show goes on. So
yeah, there's been a lot of death. You know, Hulk Hogan. You know, no matter what people want to say about him, I think that one kind of shook a lot of people because, you know, growing up, you know, he was on all kinds of TV shows, movies, and you know, I was a wrestling fan growing up, so just kind of seeing, you know, the mortality of everybody, and you know, as we get older. You know, he was not even as old as my mom. You know, he passed away. And then Malcolm Jamal Warner from The Cosby Show, just Ozzy Osbourne. It's just, you know, it's a lot, you know. So definitely a lot going on. Well, today, obviously, everybody's on here for the Illini football season starting. We went over the defensive starters and, you know, key pieces and depth last week, which was a fun episode. You know, as this is the last episode of July, and next time we talk, Kevin, they'll be in fall camp. So
yeah, it's exciting, Ryan. I mean, you can go down the list and listen to many podcasts and see what people what lots of people are saying. You know, Joe Klatt's been talking about us. Dan Orlovsky's been talking about us. A lot of people have been talking about us. So.
I mean, I've been talking about him on the Bet MGM network. You know,
absolutely. Ryan did a national podcast. That's pretty cool. And hey, listen, you know, not to knock your work, brother, but you know, it's a lot easier to jump on that. Like they're not asking Purdue guys to come on that show, probably, right? It's the fact that Illinois has some buzz adds to it, and it's like I said, it's not a knock on you. You earned your spot.
No. I just like to it's just a fun little.
No, but it's 2019 Illinois football. Like
nobody's
asking you. You know, like
nobody's bringing. Yeah, no one is bringing me on one of the hottest, you know, betting shows on an up and coming network to talk about Illinois football in 2019. It's just not happening. So,
no, not
definitely not.
Hey, I'd like to hear any thoughts of what people thought of the show last week. We'll jump into it again tonight on the offense. I just thought it was a fun little exercise. And offense is a little different. Obviously, it's not going to have the same level of depth, nor should it, right? You know, I talked ad nauseum last week about defensive linemen should play somewhere. You know, your best defensive lineman should play between 50 and 60% of snaps for a football game. Your best offensive lineman should play 100%, right?
Yep.
Unless you've got some blowout. So that'll be a little bit different, but I do think that there's spots in this offense where we do have depth that we haven't had in years past that I am excited about.
So let's kind of jump on into that, and we're going to do like a little bit what we did last week. We're going to talk about the projected starters, but then we're going to talk about, you know, how many snaps would we be okay with playing? You know, let's say if this a wide receiver or it's a running back, you know, or what maybe new piece to this spot are we excited about? And so we're going to do that, and then we'll take obviously the comments and stuff. It looks like what did he say about watch your dirty mouth, Kevin? What did he say?
Oh no. Brandon's all good. Like that's our brother, right? Brandon is a firm believer in Christ and probably watches his tongue better than I do. And I routinely like to tell the state of Indiana and their fans what I think about them. So I did that tonight on Twitter. So it might be a little bit of recency bias, but hey, what are you gonna do?
All right, so let's knock this out of the park. And anybody that has a question or wavering anywhere with who the starting quarterback is going to be, I know there's a lot of questions. That's going to be Lucky Luke. QB1. That's going to be Luke Altmaier. I'm going on a limb, Kevin. I've said this on the show before, and I posted it on X. I didn't need to say it today on Bet Sweats. I did say he's ascending, but he's a top 5 Big Ten quarterback, in my opinion. Maybe even top 3 if you really push, if you think about it. But I would say easy top 5 in the Big Ten. Luke Altmaier's your starting quarterback. He's going to make himself a guy that I think could be a 6th, 7th round draft pick, at the end of this year if he has a really big year. I think he can do that. I've heard good things that some scouts like him, and they just want to see what he can do. He put on 15 pounds, by the way. He was almost around 200 pounds last year. He's 215 now. So, and he still has the same burst and speed. I know he's not super, his size, he's not, 6'4", but really accurate arm, has a strong arm. He's got a lot of qualities that you could see him being worth a 6th or 7th round draft pick. So, I like Luke.
I think the biggest thing for Luke is it's a couple things, and I'll start with what I believe is the most important. Is like the guy feels, he went to the sports psychologist a couple of years ago. I think it was before last season, in between his sophomore and junior year. I think there's some things that Luke needed to work out. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself. And then it came out, obviously, and had a bang-up junior year. What was 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Just a phenomenal year. He's going to paint himself all over the record book, praying that he stays healthy. He'll be all over in touchdown. He'll be top 5 in touchdown passes, most likely top 5 in yards, all the things in Illinois history. But it's because, in my opinion, he's really comfortable in his own skin. I think Luke knows who he is. I think and that's helped him ascend as a leader on the team. Last year, he didn't go to big media days. This year, he did. I think it's very clear. Like there was rumblings last year that he wasn't a captain. He'll obviously be a captain this year. So that's the step in the evolution of Luke Altmaier and the quarterback you look for the most. The other aspect about it is, I agree, Brandon. I thought he did a wonderful job representing Illinois. But the other aspect about it's his 3rd year in the same system, same coordinator. That stuff is so drastically important, and it's huge that Illinois has this continuity in head coach, quarterback, and coordinators. Like those are that's so important, and I really think he's going to have a bang-up year. And obviously, the whole season, if we look at Illinois and we're talking offensive depth, can go off the rails if Luke Altmaier doesn't take 95% of the snaps this year, right? Obviously, we want to see Ethan Hampton play in as many games as possible because most likely that means we're winning big. Hopefully, the only game on the schedule where I really can see that we could get beat badly, where he got some backup reps late, would be Ohio State, but I don't see that either. I think Memorial Stadium is going to be a different beast this year, and I think coming into our house is going to be a very tough place to play, so I don't see that happening. So when you look at it and you say that this is probably one of about 2 or 3 positions on offense where you're like, hey, man, if that guy is not getting 95%, everything but the mop-up snaps, we're a little concerned with it. But I do think, God forbid, if we had a game like Iowa a couple of years ago where Art Sikowski had to come in and replace Tommy DeVito, Hampton can be that game manager. So if the defense and the running game can be established, and you got returning all 5 offensive linemen there, I think Hampton can be a game manager that you could clearly beat Purdue with him. You could probably beat Rutgers. You could probably beat Maryland. You could probably beat Northwestern. You could beat some of these games that aren't really there's about 5 or 6 games on the schedule you look at. Illinois should absolutely win. I think that even with if Altmaier were to miss a game, God forbid, but it's football. Shit happens. Yeah. You would be okay with a guy like Ethan Hampton. I mean, this is a guy at Northern Illinois who beat Notre Dame last year. National runner-up Notre Dame. So it's key. Altmaier is the cog that's going to make this whole thing go. He's the most important guy on the entire team from a perspective of has to play the most snaps. So, but we do have depth back there, and it'd be interesting to see who that third guy is, whether it's Boyd or Petty.
Sounds like Carson Boyd's making some impressing people. So,
and I'm a big Trey Petty fan too. So
it's just kind of yeah. I think, look, as much as we would love a kid to do well, and it's just kind of interesting to see how things play out for everybody. And I know Trey Petty's gonna stick it out. Stick it out this year. And but man, that shows to show you how much talent they've got there. If Trey Petty's hasn't even sniffed close to being the second string or whatever. So
right, and then Michael Clayton coming in, and now we got another.
Yeah, you got another 4-star kid coming in who we might have on this show here soon. Yeah, that one snuck up on me, Kev. I gotta be honest.
Dude, everybody. I got texts from all my friends like, "Were you in the loop on this?" And I'm like, "No." I mean, we're still trying to put a bow on 26.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't thinking hard about 27 at all. So that goes to show you how well the staff is out here making a difference and an impact, even for 2027, man. So, but yeah, so let's move. I
want to give some flowers on that one. We'll come back to it. Obviously, hopefully we get him on the show. But Art Sikowski, we talked to Michael Clayton, how important he was there. Inquirer did talked about him a great deal on their most recent podcast. I think that Art Sikowski had a chance to meet him down in Florida. Really cool guy. I mean, Art Sikowski's as cool as a fan, man. So kudos to him. I mean, that's a real big reason why these guys are wanting to come play here. And
do you think he could be a future OC if Barry Lunney moves on?
I think that's a bit of a leap.
Okay. All right. I just know that that's possible in the next.
What's he, 24 years old?
Yeah.
Maybe. That'd be.
I only mean Barry Lunney getting a chance to be a head coach somewhere if Illinois' offense keeps kicking butt,
Right. And then I've had the pleasure of talking with Barry. It's got to be the right job for him. Barry's 50 years old now. Does Barry want to go coach at a non-power 4 school, a non-power 5 school? I don't know. So,
hey guys, this is not a rumor. Hot take. I said, if Illinois' offense keeps rolling in and impressing, and they're winning 10+ games, there's a reason that Aaron Henry would get looks in the future too. I mean,
there's a reason why Clemson reached out to him this year.
That's the nature of the beast, as Kev likes to say. If Illinois keeps winning, people are going to think, how is Illinois winning all of a sudden?
No, from what I understand, and understand these words, Barry and Aaron, I don't see leaving Illinois for other coordinator positions at the college level. I do see those guys having head coach aspirations. But for Barry, like I said, being 50, it's got to be the right job. Aaron's 36 years old, man, 35 years old. He is going to be a D1 football coach somewhere. Maybe after this season, there's a chance we could lose them both. So,
yeah, and
that's 2-2 in the regular season. Universities are calling on these guys to be their next head coach.
Okay, let's say this, and we're going to get to the offensive line, which is going to be fun. If Illinois goes 20-5 of the 2 seasons, which is very possible, if Illinois is 10-3 and 10-2 before we get to the playoff stuff, let's just say that. If Illinois is 20-5 over a 2-season strand, one of the coordinators is going somewhere. That's just, that's it. Ryan Walters, hello.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Hey, the Clemson interest in Aaron Henry, and I didn't get this from Aaron. When I heard about it, I just said, hey, dude, if you go to Clemson, I will be buying some Clemson gear tomorrow. And he just said, I appreciate you, my brother. He didn't tell me anything more about that. I didn't ask, because that's where our relationship is. But my understanding, it was real. And there's going to be real opportunities for these guys, just like you said, Ryan. We win another 8, 9, 10 games. People are going to be calling on both of them. So,
yep. All right, so let's get to the offensive line. As we've talked about, and I'm sure many Illini fans know, they're returning every lineman from the starting rotation last year. But what things that I'm hearing, Kev, are really fun. Brandon Henderson can be plugged into several different places.
Absolutely.
And he's gotten bigger, stronger, faster. Brett Bielema and Bart Miller have said some really great things about him. Heck, Luke Altmaier has raved about Brandon Henderson.
Right.
And this is a guy that we knew when I first mentioned him a few years ago about, him going to Iowa State, and then everybody's like, oh, he's going to Iowa State. And I'm thinking, no, he's coming to Illinois. That we were like, this guy down the road, 3-4 years, dude, he's going to be a beast. He's going to be a redshirt junior. He's going to be a starter. He's a redshirt sophomore, though, I believe. And he's a grown-ass man now, bottom line. He's ready to not just catch touchdowns. He's ready to put pancakes in folks. I'm talking about with all the butter and all the syrup. And it looks like it's going to be some fun for Brandon Henderson, who, you can plug in a few different places. And who are some other ones before we just focus? We hit all the starters that we love. Who are you hearing, some newer additions or guys maybe who were on the team last year that didn't get as much tick for injuries or because they came on late that you can help, they can plug in?
Well, Brandon Hansen, is my understanding, is the guy behind some of these guys that they're really, really excited about. Brandon Hansen traveled with the team last year as a freshman. TJ McMillan's another one. He is going to be Cruz's replacement most likely next year, but he can fill in and play some guard if need be. So those are a couple of guys from last year's. Yeah, maybe Billy Mo thinking. I think. Are you saying Brandon? Brandon Hansen? That'll be one to look out for.
Henderson's going to play, though. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter if he starts or not. They're going to plug him in. He's going to play.
His versatility there is really nice. Another guy, his third year in the program. He's just a great guy to have. He's kind of like a Slaughter, but Desmond Schuster. It's his third year in the program. Right, a junior college transfer, redshirted his first year, third year in the program, feeling really good about his ability to kind of fill in at either guard spot behind Getsky or Henderson along with Hansen. So I think the middle of the offensive line is really in good shape. And actually, you got Priestley and Davis are your bookend tackles. God forbid either thing happens to one of those guys because they're both NFL players. Melvin's most likely going to be a guard at the next level, from what I understand. But then you got Aiden Kanapkick can come in, right?
Yes, I was hoping we'd talk about the big Vikings from Idaho,
right? But my understanding is they really would like to redshirt him, right, and let him start at left tackle next year. Listen, the way the offensive line that started in the bowl game in South Carolina, if they were to start this year, would be 4 seniors and a junior. Henderson is a junior because I think he played too much as a freshman. So that you got to replace 4 of the 5 next year coming in. If you play Kanapkick this year, you lose that level of eligibility for him going forward. So he's done. So the idea is for him to play 4 games or less, get him in there. And we'll see where it goes. Billy Mo says Tyler McMillan ends up playing right tackle and Melvin the right guard. I know they're really high on McMillan. Like, they love the kid. I don't know if he can play tackle, but hey, maybe. I
will say this: if he can be more productive and nasty just an asset than Melvin, and you move Melvin to right guard. It's a win-win, I think. But that's the question: can McMillan be what Melvin is? On the other side of Davis, that's what's crucial. You got to have you got your best.
Oh, he's saying Tyler McMillan, not even TJ.
Okay, yeah, Tyler. My bad.
Well, yeah, that's yeah. I was thinking TJ. Tyler is a transfer who came over from Southeast Missouri, 6 foot 320-pound kid. Yeah, that might be interesting to see what happens. But see, this is the level of the offensive line depth that we didn't have a year ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago, where you're putting Zy Chrysler at right tackle when he was banged up and not right. So that's just emphasizing what this team can be moving forward. Is you've got guys like Tyler McMillan, Aiden Kanapkick, you've got TJ McMillan, Brandon Hansen. And
too many McMillans
work in the middle there. And then you've even got some guys like Eddie Turk, who's a really highly thought of recruit, was on the defensive line, has moved over to offensive line. He's massive. He's super strong. So I would feel comfortable with just about any replacement on the offensive line. I really don't like Josh Kreutz is one. I mean, just center is just such an important position on the offensive line, and J.C. Davis. Those are the ones that you would just really, really have a ton of concern moving forward if those guys lost some time. But I think that you'd feel comfortable with some of the backups there. So barring catastrophic three guys getting hurt on the offensive line, I think we've got enough guys to back them up that we can be successful. So there's depth there.
And the biggest thing is, and I know, Knapp kick for next year is huge, but at least we know, let's say injury bug does hit Kev and he has to play, at least you know that you got it.
Well, and you've got his brother who's a redshirt freshman transfer from Idaho as well, who's 6'7". You've got guys there that can get out there and do something. So
yeah, sure. Yep. So we know that's so why we're still.
I'll argue with Billy Moe on this one. If Melvin Priestley's moving to right guard, Brandon Henderson's going to go take Josh Geske's spot at left guard. I'd put Brandon Henderson over Geske in my how I rank the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and I hope Josh proves me wrong.
This is all I know. Luke Altmaier was talking up Brandon Henderson quite a bit, so he could have talked up Geske, but he didn't. He's talking to Brandon Henderson. Now let's stick on the line of scrimmage there that close. Let's talk about the tight ends, man. That's going to be fun because there's a question mark there, but just a lot of excitement ready to be unleashed of the unknown of what Cole Rusk's going to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like Barry Lunney is as serious as all get out about how dynamic Cole Rusk would have helped push Illinois' offense last year. I'm not sure the question has been asked. What is his health at the moment? Is he 100% by now? We would assume so.
Sure.
It's been 12 months, but you never really know. I know camp's going to be starting in the next 4 or 5 days, so we'll find out how he's moving. He may be a guy too that they put that jersey on of light, no contact, right? They might be putting some no contact on him in some of these scrimmages just to guarantee that he's, he can see the field and be an asset for them this year. Just as a pass catcher, and he's a pretty decent blocker too, with good size, and we haven't even started talking about Tanner Arkin or, anybody else yet. So I know there was another addition. I'm sure you have it all right there, Kev, on the tight end. Who with Tanner Arkin and Cole Rusk should we be looking at?
We got Davin Stoffel and Christian Abney.
Okay. Abney's the Ball State kid, right?
Yes. And Stoffel is South Dakota State.
Yes, and I do like the Stoffel addition. He's got really good size. He's got good hands. He's not afraid to go over the middle and make some tough catches. He's coming from a winning tradition, a winning pedigree. So I like that for sure, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of depth. I think the Abney kid could be a lot like Goda from last year. Goda from last season.
Yeah.
He didn't have huge moments other than the Penn State touchdown, which was fun.
Yeah,
but he still was a vital piece of playing, in games that were needed it.
Yeah, and what I think you're going to have, Tanner Arkin is a phenomenal blocking tight end and a really solid guy that you can count on, right? And he is clearly the starter there. Where you look at it, like Cole Rusk, where he's different is that he's a guy who can stretch the field a little bit. My question is, does Jordan Anderson kind of fill in for Cole Rusk in some of those packages, or does Jordan Anderson move into like the H-back side of things and out of the backfield? It'll be interesting. He could also take some time at running back if need be, God forbid. We'll get into that in a little bit. But then you're going to need that guy that the Henry Boyer kind of role. And I think that's where Stoffel or Abney can fill in. Both those guys are about 6'6", 260. They're big guys. I don't think that and I think that Hollinger is a redshirt freshman kid out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
And Logan Farrell, obviously, is one of our highest recruited tight ends in a long time. I don't think they're going to be ready yet to take on that Cole Rusk role that we're trying to slide him in. Both those guys move a little bit better, but they're a little light in the ass, especially Hollinger. Hollinger's only listed at 225.
I think Logan Farrell, though, is primed next year to be a big part of the team.
Yeah, the one question I have here is Barry Lunny had Tip Ryman, and we didn't give him the ball very much.
Yeah.
Ryman ran a 4.6 whatever 40 or 4.59 or whatever, something stupid fast 40, which got him drafted in the 3rd round by the Cardinals. So that's where I have pause for cause when it comes to Cole Rusk, being that Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, Jake Laporta type player. I'm not saying he's going to produce or be a first-round draft pick like those guys, but I'm talking about that's the way Illinois sees his abilities and using him in the offense as that faster tight end that could stretch the field a little bit, which those guys did. We maybe had that in Tip Ryman and we didn't use it. So I'm holding a little bit of reservations on Cole Rusk and his performance. Like I think the tight end is probably the weakest spot on the team, honestly, as far as like I think Tanner Arkin's really good. Outside of Tanner Arkin, I don't know what we have. And Christian Abney's dad reached out to me on Twitter, so I hope he's awesome. So
you know what? I forgot to mention this. Jordan Anderson. Yeah, you might have. They switched Jordan Anderson to tight end, and as I heard as of yesterday, that's where he's going to be staying for camp. And that is I love that for him because let's keep it real. He's got some size on him, man, and he can move, and I think he can block. That's going to be an interesting. I think he'll get more tick than an Abney or Stoffel probably, just because he's familiar with their blocking schemes. And anytime he was in there playing, he was doing a lot of blocking out of the backfield, and we know he can pass catch. So I think Jordan Anderson in there is actually a nice addition for a guy that knew he still had another year of being behind Fagan and Lawfrey and Valentine. So
I think you see him in some packages as that fullback H-back, right? And I think that they'll utilize him as such. So.
Yeah. So. I just mentioned it. Let's hit the running backs, man.
Absolutely.
They've got some good young freshmen too that they recruited in there. Cedric Weish, right?
Yeah.
And Forster. Yep, and Forster, who I've heard really good things about. You know who Forster reminds me of? It's old school. It's one of Zook's last recruits that I got a text. It was a Donovan Young.
But Donovan Young was a big back, though.
Yeah, but Forster's he's big too. Like I looked at he was okay. Young was more Mendenhall-ish. I'll give you that. But that's like Lou Hernandez stuff. Like he likes his running backs with like Hulk Hogan forearms. You know what I mean, and biceps. Forster's
we need to get Riley O'Toole back on the show to give you some Donovan Young stories. I've got them third hand, so. Okay,
you got some Donovan Young stories. All right, I'm sure they're involved frat parties and women, right?
But no, not quite like that. But he's just a goofball. I guess he's a hilarious guy.
Okay.
And I remember that Robert from Illini board, man, he was all about. He loved some Donovan Young, dude. He was always excited about him. So Donovan Young, good ball player at Illinois, not knocking him. He did.
Yeah, Forster, just the way he's like he carries himself. He's just like a load, I'm not talking about just because he was injured and put some weight on, but
it's funny. Weish is known as more of the speed back of the two, and Weish is actually a little heavier, gone by 15 pounds according to the official roster.
Hey, Weish is like Jason Fordish, right?
I think speaking Jason Ford, man, that dude's like that dude was 5'10", 240, a little bowling ball.
He just kept pouncing off people.
There's a funny thing about Jason Ford. He had 3 touchdowns in the Northwestern game where Michael LaShore broke the school record for single game yardage.
Yeah, because LaShore got tackled at the 2-yard line.
Like 3 times.
I would have been mad if I was Mikel, man. You run the whole length of the field to get tackled at the 2.
Hey, David. All right, so let's talk about it. I don't know how you would place them. Aiden Lawfrey was the starting running back at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right? And granted, Josh McCray had a great game against South Carolina, notably by the touchdown, or was it a touchdown or the first down run, and then obviously the long run late in the game. But I thought Lawfrey was so impressive, especially in that Northwestern game. You really got to see his quicks and his speed here. So it'll be interesting whether it's Fagan or Lawfrey, but those are kind of like 1A and 1B. And then obviously Khalil Valentine is the guy behind them.
He brings a little bit extra shiftiness to the line. There's certain play calls where you're like, why are they putting Valentine in here? Is it because they want to decoy something? Or I think it's more of like, we're gonna run block here a specific way, and we know Valentine can elude and evade to take it the other direction if need be. Really easy.
Yeah, Jason Rom, love this. He said Aiden's put on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle, looks like a monster. That's awesome because he played last season 200 pounds. Love to see him at that like 215, 220 mark. I'm a big Aiden Lawfrey fan. I'm really bullish on him.
He's got 2 more years, right, because of a red shirt, correct?
He's a junior, so he's got this year plus next year along with Fagan.
Okay.
So there you go. You got the three-headed monster of those guys. But Nate Durst brought it up. David French brought it up. Like, Josh McCray was the best pass blocking back of this group. Fagan should be great. He's a monster. Oh, my goodness. Have you seen how big he looks in some of those videos?
And the fact that Lawfrey put on 20 pounds of muscle is going to help.
I'm just praying that those guys stay healthy, obviously.
Yes.
But I think you're okay. I think that you've got guys who can come behind them. And I think that the running back room could go 5 deep if need be. I think I'd really like to see it stay at 3 if possible. So we'll see. So a guy who nobody talks about if you need to go just a little bit deeper is Aaron Ball. I kind of like him. Put up some really good numbers in high school, redshirted last year. God forbid if we have to see 25 on the field too much because that means some injuries to some key players. But I think Illinois is going to be fine at the running back position.
I think Nathan Durst, we were just talking about the running back room, and he was saying who could break out. I think that we don't know. I think there isn't really anyone that we don't know. We've already kind of mentioned everybody.
I think you could have a phenomenal season for Aiden Lawfrey that might surprise people, or I think that Forrester or Weish might surprise. Forrester, I think, is the higher recruited of the two. Weish has got some giddy up to him, so we'll see.
Well, one thing we know, they're not afraid to use 3, 4, 5 backs if they, at different times. Because last year, even when Fagan was out, you still saw Lawfrey, McCray, Valentine, and even Jordan Anderson got some carries on the goal line and stuff at times.
Yeah, so he knows the position. So God forbid he's got to move away from tight end. He can come in there and be a back. I know people are concerned with McCray leaving and the injury history with Fagan and Lawfrey, and that's fair. But Khalil Valentine wears 5 for a reason. He's the highest recruited, I think, of the bunch. I think it might have been the highest star level. I could be wrong. It might be Fagan. I'm
super excited to see his sophomore. Your biggest jump is freshman to sophomore year. So I'm excited to see what he can be. With putting an extra gear in. He probably is a little bit faster and more elusive and speedier than he was last year, and which could be real scary. So,
and Nathan Durst asked, "Will Luke run more?" And I will hope he runs less. I think the offensive line was pretty porous to start the season. We gave up some sacks, gave up more. We allowed more sacks than we should have last year. I think that Luke runs when he has to. I'm fine with Luke running. He's just got to run smart. I think it's a lot like the 2022 season where Tommy DeVito ran so sparingly is because we didn't really have a lot of faith and now I'm knocking a guy I just gave praise in Art being able to come in and run the offense the way that Barry wanted to. We know Tommy DeVito could run. Tommy DeVito can move. I mean, he ran like a 4.6 something at the combine.
There's a reason Tommy's still in the NFL. It's not, So,
but I do think that Barry was very cautious about running the ball with Tommy that year. I think he's going to try and protect Luke. I don't think you're going to see many mesh reads where Luke can design to keep it unless it's in important key situations to catch the defense off guard. So,
now I will say, you went from tight end to running back. Running back has got quite a bit of depth, and I love where the room's at. Now, wide receiver,
Well,
Wow.
I do want to say Jason popped in.
Okay.
Caden Fagan's injury was serious, and it is something to be concerned about moving forward. So
It was a serious hip surgery,
yeah.
and that's why there's some people say the staff didn't talk to him about moving to linebacker. I know people who are close to the situation that said they did, but it was only because they want him to have a future in playing football.
Right.
And they know if he has one more hip surgery, that his chances of playing in the NFL are very slim. You know, you're going to have bad hips already at 21 years old, 22, and to be a running back, that's not going to happen in the NFL. So I think it was more of the staff just looking out for him. You know, he's already had 2 serious surgeries. If he has a third one before he's even graduated, that's not good. So I applaud the staff for trying to just look out for the young man and his future. But he's still running back at Illinois. He's just you know, one thing I hope about Fagan, Kevin, he can finally put it together, because there was times where we would see the holes and he just seemed like he couldn't get through it. You know.
Or we also see moments where he was just such a dynamic athlete on the field, like the Minnesota game, like the Penn State game, and you're just like, that guy's just different, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying I want his you know, as a runner each year you need to progress. You need to be better in some areas than you were the year before. I would hope so anyway.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise why are you playing? So that's one thing I would like to see from Fagan this year is, yes, we love that he falls forward for 2 or 3 yards when he's tackled, but sometimes when the hole's there, he's just too methodical to try to get through it. And it's like when you see it, he's a locomotive, a freight train, just needs to run through it. So I hope this year he can do that.
Yeah.
Now
the wide receiver is probably the most interesting position on the entire team.
As Luke Altmaier said at Big Ten Media Day, the deepest position, but there is no – who's going to be the Pat Bryant, right?
Right.
Who's going to come out and be his Zachary Franklin? He needs some guys, some go-getters to go out there and take the leadership of, like, who are going to be my guys? You know, Malik – we all assume Malik Elzy, right? So we think Malik Elzy should be a guy, right, to be one of those. You know, even if he's not Batman, maybe he could be Robin. You know,
right. So if I ask you, Ryan, who do you think the 3 starters at wide receiver are today? Where are you going?
Well, I would say Hank Beatty is
slot.
one.
Yeah.
Hank Beatty's at slot. I'm gonna say Alex Kapka Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm going to say Colin Dixon.
Okay, so Hudson Clement doesn't start.
Yeah, that's a good one. See, that's a good one. Okay, right. Now Hudson Clement. Okay, so who do we push out of there then? Alex Kapka Jones, probably.
That would be my starting one, but you could arguably say that Colin Dixon, Hudson Clement, Hank Beatty are all built better to be slot receivers. Now,
there's so many packages, Kev, that we may see them together at some. And then maybe they are not together, or they start the game out at one. Does that mean they're not starters, right?
Right. So I don't know. And it's so interesting because when you look, if you're going to go truly outside guys and the way that they're built, the outside guy, just from a build standpoint, would be Elzy, Kapka Jones, Bowick, Hollins, right? Hollins is my guy. Everybody knows Ashton Hollins is my guy. I think that he is a guy that not a lot of people talk about. And then you would look at the inside guys would be Clement, Dixon, Beatty, then maybe Mario Sanders.
Here's why I would say Clement on the – I think Clement can be your long ball threat, man, like not even necessarily just slot. It's I watched some of his highlights at West Virginia. They were using him on the outside quite a bit.
Dude, he's a well put together lad, dude. He's
I'm excited about. I forgot about Clement. I'm gonna keep it real for a minute. Like, anybody want to go watch that man's highlight reel? Like, I think Luke's gonna have some fun with him. And I already said this to people, and people were kind of chuckling. Do you guys realize there's gonna be an all white boy wide receiver sets?
We're gonna put a Kapka Jones, Beatty, and Clement.
Yeah, and then Arkin and Rusk. It's just going to be
Aiden Lawfrey.
Yeah, Aiden Lawfrey in the backfield. They're going to be the old. There's going to be the all white boy offensive.
The all white guy skill position.
And everybody's going to think we're going to run these suckers over, man. Like there ain't no juke in these boys. And I'm going to tell you something. If they think that about Aiden Lawfrey, they're going to leave their shoes at midfield. And then
Hudson Clement or Hank Beatty.
Yeah, Hudson Clement and Hank Beatty aren't your average white boys. I can tell you that.
It's interesting. It's funny you said that, especially after I know Aaron got some blowback about what he said about Tanner, but I'm gonna send a text tomorrow, ask him, hey, like, you guys putting in an all white guy skill package?
Yeah, I wonder how his defense would handle that. That'd be fun.
But here's my point. Here's the thing about Hudson Clement, and everybody talks about replacing Pat Bryant. And listen, I'm gonna save some stuff for Pat Bryant for my final thoughts. Hudson Clement through 2 years of college, 1,200 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. Now, and that's playing Power 5 level for a decent West Virginia team. And Pat Bryant had 9 downs and less yards in his first 3 seasons at Illinois than Hudson Clement has in his first 2 seasons at West Virginia. So I'm not saying Hudson Clement is Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant had some intangibles. Like I said, I'll get into some of that in final thoughts. But I think it's okay there. The question is who steps up to the Zachary Franklin role. I'm really a big believer in Colin Dixon. But here we are. We're talking about Colin Dixon, Hank Beatty, Hudson Clement, Alex Kapka-Jones, Malik Elzy. Justin Bowick is an athletic freak. Ashton Hollins, Mario Sanders, Tyshawn Griffin. I'm missing somebody. There's
9 or 10 guys right there. Yeah.
And listen, there would be so many years in Illinois.
Hold on a sec. Braden Trimble.
I was just going to say that there'd be so many years in Illinois football where Braden Trimble would see the field, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he redshirts. So, because I'd love to get a 4th-year junior from him where he just blows up, right? So I mean, a huge fan of the kid from Mount Zion. So there's just a ton of depth here. It's just going to be kind of difficult and this is really going to fall on Barry, the wide receivers coach, and Luke to just find some rhythm with who's the guys that are right. And listen, one of the guys that people are sleeping on, not the guy I'm a fan of, is Austin Hollins. But dude, Mario Sanders was a really good junior college football player. He led NJCAA in receptions with 72. He had 12 touchdowns, 942 yards, 5 100-yard games, returned 2 kicks for touchdowns. By the way, there might be your kick return. So Rio is a guy don't. And then Sean Griffin was a really highly thought of recruit out of Chicago. He's built a lot like Isaiah Williams, the receiver, not the quarterback. The incoming Isaiah Williams.
I love to say we got to have the Isaiah Williams train, baby. Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things that, there's a lot of guys out there and you're going to have to go out and improve it. And there's a couple guys out there and then Malik Elzy. That's the guy. I didn't say Malik Elzy. I didn't even mention Malik Elzy's the highest rated recruit.
Malik Elzy's that. Kev, maybe you agree. Malik Elzy's that unknown right now that if he can untap that all potential, that confidence, put it all together, man, he could be scary good,
Oh, he's huge. He's 220 pounds at 6'2", borderline 4-star. Malik Elzy, and he's magnificent after the catch. Malik Elzy, I know that was really good after the catch, and we saw it last year. Malik Elzy has the most break tackle ability from a wide receiver that we've had at Illinois since really it's been, in my opinion. He's got the ability, the strength to run through tackles like nobody we've had since him. And I would love to see it pop and happen this year for him.
Yep, we saw what he can do. He had a couple really big catches last year, some tough catches for touchdowns.
And 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So we've seen
Eastern.
Yeah, against Eastern, that was a hell of a catch. Yeah. He had a couple nice catches against Nebraska as well.
I know it was Penn State he had the touchdown.
Yep, 2 years ago, his freshman year, yeah.
Here's something you know about Malik Elzy.
What's up?
Academic All Big Ten.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that takes a lot of work. So smart kid, love to see. I watched him on the sideline in the Nebraska game because I read something somewhere said how good of a teammate he was. He's a phenomenal teammate. So really, really hope that he has it. Hey, Nate Durst, I'm talking wide receivers breaking tackles.
Not Chase Brown. Hey, Chase Brown in year 3 is like going to be a top fantasy option, dude. So
absolutely. There was one year where there was 3 Illinois running backs that were like taking the first 3 or 4 rounds. It was Mendenhall, LaShore, Derek Thomas.
Yeah, because LaShore was just a touchdown machine that year in Detroit. It was like
Derek Thomas was a points per reception guru, man. So
yep. So we'll get to it here a little after 10.
Agreed. LZ concentrates on the hands. Everything's going to be fine.
Okay. Billy Moe, the voice of reason. I'll let you go last. I think you got a little something special for Pat Bryant. But yeah, so just appreciate all our listeners here. Excited for football season. I'm going to keep on it a little bit till it starts. Still looking for a sponsor. I'm not going to get my Salvation Army can out and start ringing it or anything, but if we would love someone interested to sponsor the show, it's a win-win for both of us. DM me or Kev. We can talk logistics. But yeah, I think we don't need a sponsor. We would just really like one to help your business out. And maybe it helps us build the podcast a little bit more too, do different updates and add some cool things to it. So it's a win-win. I know there's a bunch of people that listen. Football, the coaches on the team listen to this or watch it. Players watch and listen to this. Recruits watch and listen to this. Opposing coaches and players watch and listen to this. Current media watch and listen to this. So if you're anyone with a business that would love to get your name out there, please shoot me and Kev a message. We'd love to help you out. And again, we appreciate everybody who watches this. Keep subscribing on YouTube, you guys. Keep doing it. Keep plugging away. It's a slow build. We really appreciate it. We're getting closer to 1,000. And, so thanks for following along.
Yeah, and we'll talk full Camden Lipati commitment. He reached out to me on Twitter, as a matter of fact. That was really awesome. Started following me. We've been chatting on Twitter. I mean, how crazy is that we're doing Keeping It Orange and Blue, talking Illinois football, and we're not talking about a 4-star recruit as our primary subject because the season's so exciting. Yeah, that used to be earth-shattering breaking news, and now it's just kind of becoming who we are. So cool.
We'll hit that hard next week, like Kev said.
Absolutely. I started the show talking about Sandberg. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about him just a little bit. My favorite baseball player of all time. I have his jersey. I'm going to the Red Sox Astros series this weekend in Fenway. I'll be wearing it. The guy was pure class in every sense of the word. Ryan, it's like you said in our Twitter thought, even as a Cardinal fan, you respected the guy, right? It's kind of like the same way I feel about Albert Pujols, Adam Wainwright. Like, I couldn't stand the Cardinals, but I still respected the hell out of those guys. And just sad passing. Hug your loved ones. But I did want to say something. If you're following me on Twitter, you've seen it, reposted it. Pat Bryant is showing up really well at Broncos camp, and that is a team on the rise. They have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the NFL this year. Got a young stud quarterback in Bo Nix, who, if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels' unbelievable rookie season, would have been the offensive rookie of the year. They really need a second wide receiver, and Pat Bryant, outside of Cortland Sutton, is seeming like he's fitting into that role, and it is such good news because you've never heard anybody outside in the Smith Center say anything bad about Pat Bryant, right? Pat Bryant has just been unbelievable. Billy Moe, I think Lipati is Samoan, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. You've never heard anybody say anything remotely negative about Pat Bryant, his work ethic, and just for him to have such an amazing senior season at Illinois, and just really expected him to go high on draft boards. And then, unfortunately for him, he ran a poor 40 time that really looked like it was going to push him down draft boards. I was shocked when he went in the 3rd round to the Broncos, but Sean Payton knows a little something about offense and invested in him, and he's showing out. And so think we're all pulling for Pat, what he's been through. Anybody who watched the show, the journey, the episode there. It's just been really cool for Pat Bryant, and I'm pulling for him, and it's exciting to see that he's showing out well, and hopefully that continues. And 13 and orange and blue can continue to make some plays. Slightly different shade of orange and blue in the NFL. So
I might get a Pat Bryant Broncos jersey. Just might. I don't know how you feel about that in Oklahoma City, but it's not too weird, I guess.
No, I mean, let me see. I rooted for the Broncos in just about every Super Bowl they've ever been, and except maybe against the Falcons. So, I mean, look who they're playing. They're playing the Redskins and the Giants and the Niners, Packers. Like, I don't like any of those teams. Like, so,
yeah.
And then when Peyton Manning was there, I for certain was rooting for him. So,
well, that's what I meant. When I think they beat Cam Newton and the Panthers, and then they got upset.
No, the Panthers beat the dog piss out of them, didn't they? No, Seattle beat the dog piss out of them.
Yeah, Seattle beat the dog. No, Peyton Manning won his second Super Bowl with the Broncos.
Yep.
And they beat the Carolina Panthers. So yes. Yeah, pretty sure. Yes.
Hey, Mo, long way to go for Coach Green to land Liv Johnson, Lucas Johnson's daughter. I think
it is a long way to go.
In high school.
Let me tell you, it is a long way. She just turned 14, but let me tell you something. Shauna and Green and them, they if they recruit her just as hard as everybody else, both her parents went to Illinois. Okay,
yep.
The Johnsons are Illini. They're
Gotta
Illini.
Got to win.
Yeah. Okay, and I think the table is set. Illinois is landing top 10 recruiting classes, Kevin. Like, I don't see why they won't.
No, they got to. They just got to win. That's all they got to do is stay healthy and win, and stay without child. Be all right.
We might have a special guest on next week's show while we talk some fall camp. So, hey, August is almost here, everybody. Our favorite time of year. We're going to start talking camp. Here in about 3 weeks, we'll probably make our season predictions.
You better get some tickets, dude. I'm telling you, they're almost all gone if they're not gone already. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. Every game day is gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun.
Memorial Stadium's gonna be a different atmosphere this year. So,
yep, sounds good. All right. With that said, God is good, and swap me out.
Amen.